let's talk about Dream Scenario. This is one of the ones that I think you were most looking forward to because it comes from Christopher Borgli, who
My boy.
recently popped onto a lot of people's radar because of Sick of Myself, which a lot of people really liked. I caught that one before I headed to Toronto to properly prepare myself to dive into the world of Nick Cage, who becomes a overnight celebrity after appearing in every person on Earth's dream. It's a really fascinating idea. It feels kind of Charlie Kaufman-esque. It definitely has like shades of adaptation as well as Synecdoche, New York in it. I think it is a wildly inventive and quite often quite hysterical sort of existential comedy in some ways. It's also shot really interestingly in this sort of like muted film stock. Nick Cage is quite good in it as well. There's a lot of actors I liked who show up and have interesting roles, from Michael Cera to Dylan Galula and Tim Meadows. To me, this is like one of the most unique films that we caught at Toronto. I was just consistently taken with how imaginative it was. Art, what did you think about Dream Scenario?
I agree with you that at its worst, it really is adaptation. His meme movie that just came out last year, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, it's like all those movies yet again into a blender, some funny different sequences, but it does feel like they're Nick Caging him again. They are recognizing who he is and almost taking that idea of when he went viral because of all of his, spaz out scenes that he had in his movies. Everybody knew him for this one thing, and they're kind of trying to play on that. What do you do when the whole world sees you as something? Is the judgments of the court of public opinion, does that supersede everything else, right?
Yeah.
Including his tenure. This would be another teacher movie where they're dealing with how everybody, all the student body feels about them. That set is just funny, dude. Like, this is him performing and giving you some of the most memorable quotes you're going to get from Nick Cage. If you've loved what he's done in the past, he continues doing it here. There's this one moment where someone takes a picture of him, and his reaction to that, I've been quoting the entire time since we've seen it. There is a scene on a couch. Just hilarious. There are cliche fart jokes that they do in this movie, and they work. There's imagery in this movie, especially dealing with the dreams, with how they'll take the setting in the real world to then the setting in the dream world and how they play along with that. I think is really cool. The commentary is a little cheeky. I think this is a very online movie. You can tell that the director, especially in the Q&A, what's his name, would say something about how he did a scene. Nick Cage, and it very much sounded like the director would be like, "Oh yeah," and then just add this. He did the tin 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 tin. Like it sounded like he was just adding a lot of those moments to it, and he definitely wanted to be the center of the bit. Which, when you direct a movie like Sick of Myself, I guess that is something that is really close to heart for you. But he's a talented little bugger, is what I'll give to him, and I think you see that a lot in this movie. There are like callbacks to podcasters in this movie that I found really corny, but at the same time, it leads to him being able to have a sequence dealing with dream ads. It's so funny at times.
Yeah.
The performances are great. The imagery is fantastic. I would definitely put this on your radar. I would just definitely put this on your radar, just in general.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, sometimes you want film to be able to take you to like a place that you hadn't thought of going, and this is one of those films that really, really like just takes you some very interesting places, some very funny places. Can't wait for this one to come out.
It's a dumber Michel Gondry movie. Since you brought him up, it just is.